my name is Starlight, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature, and Starlight just got done taking a beautiful hike in this area here, and I did make a video of that, and right now I'm gonna make another video. So I just got done making a video, and the reason why I may want to make another video right now is it's kind of early out, and even though, as you can see through the windows in this vehicle of mine, it's starting to get a little dark out. So right now I think it's like going for 4 o'clock. So it is kind of too early for me to wind down right now, and it's not like I'm going to visit anybody at their house. So anyway, happy Thanksgiving to all of you, because today is Thanksgiving Day, and of course you're not going to see this video on Thanksgiving Day, but anyway, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving Day. And I know holidays can be kind of fun sometimes when you have relatives getting together, and some of you probably might struggle with getting together on Thanksgiving Day, and of all holidays, trying to be thankful and grateful. But Starlight didn't have anybody to celebrate with this year as far as family goes, as far as being grateful as a family coming together and eating a Thanksgiving dinner, which Starlight does not eat turkey anymore or meat. But anyway, besides, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope that you're taking really good care of yourself. Sorry, I got like this something on my eyelash. And I hope you're also eating the right kind of food. Drink plenty of water. Let's see. Starlight has her water right here. Yeah, drink plenty of water. That's what my doctor tells me, right? Especially at this time of year. Starlight, you gotta drink more water, get more protein and iron. Okay. So anyway, you really do. You gotta really when your doctor tells you those things, those are what you really want to pay attention to and listen to. It's because Starlight is in the situation where she is now. It is not always easy to get that kind of food that I need for my body, but I have to work on it. I got to push myself. So it is so important, to do it while you're young. Start taking care of yourself when you're young, and especially as you're getting younger, make sure you really, can control yourself. So now it is so funny. Now I'm talking about all this. I think I'm going to switch topics now. So anyway, I do love all of you. So yeah, I'm going to switch topics. So if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome. And you could find me on YouTube, and that is Starlight. And that's Kathy with a K, Dingman. Plus, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook at Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So I have to laugh now anytime I make videos and I say that word plus. If you did watch that one video I recently put out, is have you heard about this? Or I don't know what the title was, but you got to check that video out if you haven't watched that yet, so then you'll know what that means. So some of you that probably are watching my videos, you probably giggle every time you hear me say the word plus now. So laugh. I do. I want you to laugh. You can laugh at me. I don't care. Laughing with me is more fun, though. So anyway, now that I decided to make have a different topic, is have you ever tried this? And this is not easy. I did this a long time ago when I went to church, and it might have been because a pastor preached on this topic or something. And I took church very serious when I was younger, but I absolutely don't go, and I am not here. Definitely, I am not here to encourage you to go. It is all up to you. God gave you a free will, but I learned lessons when I went to church, the good, bad, and the ugly. So here, when I was younger, I was learning about temptations and learning to tell myself no, you know, just like not all parents do this. Not at all. Not very many parents. I don't think very many parents do this with their kids. When they're little or even when they're growing up, whatever, as long as they're in your house, like it could be, your little child, like a year old, of course, when they're a year old, you're always telling them no. You're always pulling them away from stuff. You know, um, Starlight was funny with her kids, if they got stuck under a chair, I'm just gonna watch. Now, other parents might go over there and rescue their kid from underneath the chair. You know, the little kid is gonna bump their head a little bit or whatever, but it's gonna teach them how to figure out how to get out of that. And so Starlight was really like studying her children when she was younger. I didn't make things easy for my kids. I'm like, like when I climbed up a tree when I was younger, I was a tomboy, a tom girl or whatever. Because I had all my brothers, they were climbing trees, climbing on buildings, jumping off of buildings. Believe me, Starlight was going out and doing a lot of crazy stuff as a girl, and I still would. But with my brothers, they would climb up on a tree, and I found it seems to be always easier climbing up things than it was to get back down. And so when I went through that as a child, I learned to do this to my kids when they were little. I would get on top of my dad's a shed, and I don't know how many feet it was, because now I'm like 5'5", but say if it was like 12 feet tall, so I'm on this, shed, it's his workshop or whatever. And my brothers did it all the time where they would find a way and climb up there on this shed, and then they would hang around on top of it. My dad couldn't see really what we were doing most of the time because he was partially blind, so we did do a lot of naughty stuff as kids. But my brothers would get up on top of the shed and jump off. So Starlight, like, I got in so much trouble following my brothers around, and so I would climb up and I would have my feet hanging and looking down at the ground. I'm like, wow, it looks much different up here, like, I got up here. Now how is Starlight gonna get back off the shed? I couldn't easily climb down the way I got up. I didn't have a ladder. It's not like I climbed up and got up on a ladder. So I had to learn how to get back off that shed, and I did. It took me who knows how many minutes or hours. I don't know how long I was up there on that shed just looking down, braving it, wondering if I was going to live, after I landed on the hard ground. So because of my experience when I was a kid, I'm like, you know what? If my kids do something when they're little, as long as they're not going to get really, like, I'm not going to put them on have them climb up on, something and really, if it's going to really hurt them, but they're just stuck under a chair, and they'll learn, okay, oh, my, oh, my, and they might cry a little bit, and you could just, like, you don't have to run over there and rescue them all the time, like, especially if they're okay. They're gonna feel little bumps, and, it's okay. That is a part of learning in life, that you're gonna get some bumps and bruises in life. So you don't want to overprotect your children. Absolutely not. But at the same time, you do not want to neglect your children. So you definitely need to have balance in that area. But um, so anyway, when my kids were little, I would let them do certain things like that, and I wanted them to learn their way out of it. But then after that is there's times that you say no to your children for no reason. Have you ever done that with your kids? They want something and normally you might say yes, or maybe it's not the time and you've got to say no. So what's good is to, like, if you're a parent now, is to practice with your children. Hopefully it's not too late now, is to say no more than yes. They need to get used to hearing a no. And they're gonna, like I have been taught so many different ways, either through, my parents or hearing other people or through the churches, where I was taught when I was going to church, if you told a child to do something, that they were supposed to obey right away. And I do agree with that, though. They need to obey right away. And you don't have to beat them, though, is to, because that's how we get tripped up sometimes. If God wants us to do something, or we know we shouldn't do something, and you don't jump on to what you're not supposed to do, or you don't do what you're supposed to, if you don't do what you're supposed to do right away, it's easy to forget about it and let it go, and then you're going to miss out on stuff. So you really got to be careful with how you bring up your kids in so many different ways. But it's so good to give them a no, and then when they say why, you know you can explain why. Be honest to your kids, though. So you could tell them, different reasons. I mean, there might be a real reason why you're saying no, is that they need to hear that no. They need to, so this video is about you now. So practice with your kids if you have little ones, or even teenagers, because they might want to go somewhere, and you know you might say no, and even though they were good, and you said no, or even though their room was clean, was their room even clean when you said yes? So a lot of parents, I've seen a lot in my life where the child didn't even have their chores done, their room is a mess, and where there's a lot of parents out there, they just say yes just to get the kids out of their hair, and you're ruining your kids doing that. But if you're that parent that says, hey, do you got your jobs done, or is your schoolwork done, like, did you mow the yard like you were supposed to, did you take out the garbage, did you do the dishes, did you do the laundry, so you got to teach them responsibilities, and then they can, the rewards in life. But not that you're always going to get rewarded for stuff. So there's a lot that you can teach your kids. And what I've learned with my kids, they taught me a lot about me. So that is why some people can't deal with being a parent, because it's a big challenge, because you do learn, it's the way God puts this together. You want babies, huh? Now, you're going to see yourself in your child. Your child's going to act a certain way, and it's going to, like, I kind of act like my child, and so it is really amazing. That's why I wanted, Starlight wants to be a baby machine, like, I need a man, I need a man out there, I want to make babies. Starlight loves having kids, just to be a full-time mother, just keep on being a mom. So anyway, is in life, like, say if you go to a friend's house, and you're like, they're inviting you over to dinner, and your husband or wife, or your, or whoever, your kids, and you go to your friend's house, or even family member's house, and they have dinner, and where you have a meal, and they might offer to put the food on your plate, or you can put it on your plate. Sometimes parents like to put, the food on your plate, but, hopefully when you're an adult, you can figure out what you want and how much you want on your plate. But if they served it on your plate, then you kind of stuck with it. But if you get to pick and choose, what you're going to put on your plate, have you ever thought about saying no to something that that is not good for you? Your mom's like, hey, it's Thanksgiving Day. Would you like a piece of apple pie or pumpkin pie? Or I have your favorite, some, like, chocolate chip cookies. I bet you can't say no to that, and so these temptations, like, and this is on food, because I'm just saying this, because today is Thanksgiving Day, is, have you ever thought of just saying no? even though you really, really want it, but you're just gonna say no. And the more you do it, it gets easier. You know, you could go to another friend's house or, let me see. Yeah, I guess other people's houses, and they have other goodies, like things that you really, really like. And you're like, that's like my favorite, but the doctor says that is really like the worst thing for me to eat, but they're offering it me. And, I don't want to say no because I feel like, like I'm going to hurt this person because they work so hard at cooking it, but you really got to be strong. And, like, and I've had people where they wanted you to eat their cooking, and I was on a strict diet, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't eat that anymore. And they still persist to, like, to try to get me to eat those things. Oh, you'll be fine. Just do it this, because really it was all about them. It wasn't about me. It was all about me eating their cooking, about eating their food. And it was all about them on, hey, did I like their food? And if I was going to compliment on that thing that I didn't eat anymore, where I'm like, I don't eat that anymore. Like, say, for instance, hot dogs. Do you like hot dogs? Woo! Have you ever, like, would you like to watch a video on how they get made? Do you know how do they make hot dogs? Or how about, Jello? Do you like Jello? Do you know what they're made out of? So yeah, if we went through those lists, a lot of people, they, like, they might not want to eat if they only knew what they were eating. They'd be like, really? I'm eating what hooves? Horse hooves? Mmm. I love Jello. He's like, yummy. Come here, horse. Horse hooves, Or how would you like some plastic in your coffee? Does that sound good? I don't know. I used to drink a lot of plastic in my coffee, and you're probably wondering, Starlight, why were you putting plastic in your, yeah, well, I wasn't actually literally putting plastic. It's that powder creamer, I found out long time ago that there's an ingredient in there, that's, not good for you. So, let's see. I'm just like getting this message here. Hang on. Yep. So, have you ever practiced with yourself? Maybe you've done this with your children, but how about you? To discipline yourself. Maybe you're really a firm mother that's always disciplining their kids, or maybe you're a firm dad, a lot. It could be both, because I've seen some firm mothers out there, and, where the husband or the boyfriend was a pushover, and then I've seen where the guy was the one in the house that was very firm on the kids and making sure, because the way he was brought up and the way he was trained as a child, to be and behave. Have you ever said no to your friends when they're like, hey, like, you want to come over and spend the weekend, and I'm gonna have my friend Bill come over, and we're gonna, drink and, smoke some pot and have some music, and we're gonna go out to the bar this weekend, and, just to go out and see if there's any chicks out there and go out, have fun. And some parts of it might sound interesting to you, but other parts you're like, like this part sounds good, but I don't really care for his friend, and his house is a mess. It stinks, like it's just disgusting. But he really, you really like the guy, or, and it could be a girl too, where maybe you are female, and, like, you're getting invited to go somewhere, like, hey, let's go to the mall, we're gonna go over there, we're gonna shop over at this mall, and when we get done, we'll go over, and shop at this other, like, what is it, a purse store? Starlight's like good with that. But, girls get into stuff like that, going shopping and spending money. Not all women, like Starlight's not like that. Got any arts and crafts? So anyway, you might not want to go, but your friend, it's your friend asking you, Can you be brave enough to say no, no to that person, because really it is a no to you. It's a 50-50. 50 part of you says yes, and the other 50 part, you're like, anytime I go with this person, they're driving, it's their car, they're gonna come and pick me up, and I never know when I'm gonna get home. And they always act like I'm gonna get home early. I'm just making all this stuff up, where but then, like something always happens, and then I get kind of pulled in on these things where, sometimes I am having a little bit of fun, but then when I get home and I look at the time, and I'm so tired and all this stuff, and then when you get home, you just wish you never went out. Where you got to learn to actually discipline yourself and just say no, just for the sake of it, just to discipline yourself, because it really will help you out when temptation does come along. And I say no a lot. I have said no a lot, where I used to just do anything that anybody asked me. Hey, you want to do this? And I didn't want to, but I'm like, I didn't want to hurt their feelings. I didn't want to hurt their feelings. I'm like, I didn't want to answer to why I didn't want to. You don't have to tell people why you don't want to. And that's what somebody told me a long time ago, is that if you don't want to do something, you don't have to tell them. Where a lot of people, what they do is they don't want to do something, but they feel like they're being pressured into doing something. So what they end up doing is they end up doing it, or they end up making up an excuse and lying about it, like Starlight used to do. Somebody would try to get me to do something, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that. Like I was trying to think really fast. Sometimes I had a warning of what they were going to ask me, so I had a little bit of time to think of an excuse really quick. And a lot of times I was lying about it, getting out of it and saying, oh, well, I got to go do something later. I don't know what I was doing later, but I have other stuff to do. Don't do that, though. You don't have to lie. Please do not lie to get out of stuff. You do not have to tell anybody why you don't want to do nothing. Like if you don't want to go out to the bar with your friends because, you got other better stuff to do. Maybe, like you don't like their behavior when they're out in public. Maybe you don't like that they're drinking too much, and you don't know if they're going to make the right choice when it comes to driving behind the wheel of a car when they're, going out to party. Maybe they're not going to be responsible. Maybe they go out and do foolish things when you go out with them, and maybe they're not a good driver, and you don't feel safe, but they're your friend. They're your best friend, but you don't want to go out with them because they're fine in some ways, but when they go out and party, it just is not for you. You don't feel comfortable. You don't feel safe. You're not even having fun. You feel pressured and you feel forced. You don't have to feel forced. You don't have to have people put you on a guilt trip, because some people do. Some people will be like, well, why not? Why don't you want to, like, I thought we were going to do this, and you said you can change your mind. I was taught when I was younger, at church did this to me. If you said that you were going to do something, they said that then you got to do it. But, they were, now that I think about it, they were using that against me when I was younger, because if you said that you were going to do choir at the church, then that means that you have to do it, that you could not back out, where and I did this a lot. I jumped into everything when I started going to church. I was in choir, I was in bus ministry, I was in nursery, I was cleaning the church. I did all kinds of stuff, and I loved all of it. It just that it was too much for me at times. And then I'm like, oh no, I stuck my foot in my mouth, because they worked on my heart. And before I knew it, I couldn't say no, and I opened up my mouth. So I learned the hard way. I was like, oh, that was a lesson, where, I wish I said no, but I felt pressured and I felt like I had to say yes. So you don't have to say yes, and you don't have to explain, and you can back out of anything. Like a relationship, you might think, oh, I can't back out of the relationship now. We just moved in. He's acting like a jerk, or she's freaking being a control and or he is being a control freak. It goes both ways, or they're being lazy. I'm like, man, before they came here, my house was all in order. Now they're throwing their bottles and cans around in my bedroom space. They don't pick up after themselves. I asked them kindly, but then I look around and trash is all over. They don't pick up after themselves. I'm like, I didn't know that this person was going to be like this. Now I'm behind rent. They said all kinds of weird stuff can happen, especially, when you have somebody moving in with you. And Starlight, thought about having a roommate long time ago to make things easier financially. But, I actually did go out, like, meeting people to see, because there was ads in the paper of, other people, like, that were looking for a roommate. And I was looking mainly, I have to say, more of a man to move in with, than a female. So, but I did actually decide to go at a lady's house one time to see, you know what, I'll go meet this chick. Maybe I can, meet somebody, like to be roommates with her, so I realized that definitely wasn't for me. I couldn't ever do it, because it is a very serious thing. When you let somebody is in your house, you don't know if you're going to ever get them back out. You might have to, like have the authorities in, like to help get them out, or they might do some damage somehow or another to, mind control you or try to control you where you feel stuck with them. Or, you might get, thinking about, oh, well, I'll just put up with it because they're helping me to pay for the bills. And, now I got some extra spending money where before I didn't have any money, all my money was going on the bills, so you really do, you got to really be careful of, what you allow in your life and, about saying no and staying strong and, relationships, and this goes for both is, so I'll pick on the guys first. Hi, guys. So Starlight will pick on the guys first, and then girls, I'll pick on you after. So men, like, and not all men are like this, but a good portion of them could be, is, like, I know somebody that's going through this now, is, like, there, you might have a guy friend, where you're not a boyfriend girlfriend, and, where you like each other, you're getting to learn each other, and maybe the guy is always like, hey, like, I want to kiss you, and all guys are different when it comes to that stuff. Some of them will ask for permission and say, hey, is it all right if I give you a hug? Total respect. I have total respect for a gentleman. That's actually called a gentleman. Starlight has not met very many of them. I taught my son to be a gentleman, I'll tell you that much, though. so, so anyway, is, and guys, please teach your sons to, and women, teach your sons to be, how you want to be treated. How would you really want to treat a lady? That's what we need to do with our boys, is to treat them, like respectful, like to teach them to be respectful with the women, to not to think it's okay to put their hands on a girl. And, I actually had this quickly happen to me tonight. It wasn't anything too bad, but it was a guy I don't even know, and I seen him tonight at the dinner, and, he quickly grabbed my hand, acting like he wanted to hang on it, and I just pulled my hand. I'm like, like, I don't, that's like a no-no, so always respect women, and, like, kind of treat them like your mom. But if your mom's if you're not treating your mom good, then don't do that, though. I mean, if you're supposed to respect your mom, as long as really respect, I actually is something that you have to earn, though. Like, you can't, some people want to get respected, but they don't deserve to be respected because the way they are. So, if you treat your mom really good, like, you really, if you like a girl, is to, you want to touch your mom, I hope not. So respect the lady, like, if you like that girl, don't just assume that it's okay to, like, quickly put your hands on her, like, legs, arms, nothing, absolutely nothing. because you don't know her background and you don't know what she's gone through, and it could really trip some females up, definitely. I am very touchy of being touched by anybody. I've actually have yelled at my brother more than once because he said he was a touchy person, and I never grew up with him. It's just that, you know, um, I don't like to be touched unless somebody asks permission for that. So you do have to know that and understand that not all females want to be like that, and I hope not. And so as far as women goes, is that women need to speak up and say, hey, like, please do not touch me. Please, you got to speak up. You got to use your voice. And Starlight, when she was younger, did not do that. As I got older, kind of like a little, not too long ago, late, I mean, like, who knows how many years ago, I was finally, after how many times, started using my voice and speaking up, so just to, we have to be strong as women, really to let men and communicate with them what we expect and what we don't expect. And if they cannot respect us on what we say, then you got to let them go. Absolutely. You don't, you just get them out of your place and space and don't put yourself in that situation again. And also, guys, I'm going to pick on the women now. Sometimes not Starlight. Starlight is absolutely not like this, but there might be a lot of women out there that want to control you, or they want to tell you what to do, over control you and tell you what to do, or try to get your money one way or another, or think that you always have to buy them something. And guys, you got to be strong and say, you know we've only known each other for how long, and you don't want to try to buy a woman, or girls. You don't want to try to win them over the wrong way. Like, I've known a lot of men do that in the past, not so much with me, but I've seen a lot out in my lifetime. Is sometimes men really are too quick on buying a girl a gift, too early, and it really can trip your relationship right in the start, where you're always buying them stuff, and it could backfire on you easily. I told my son before he got married, don't spoil her rotten, because that really messes up the females. So and be thoughtful of the kind of gift. A lot of girls like myself, and guys, you might do the same thing women do. If a girl buys you a gift, you're trying to understand, what does this gift represent. Flowers represent different things depending on the color and the kind of flowers they are, and sometimes guys don't know that, or sometimes the girls do not know the meaning of certain flowers, like colors and stuff, like roses, white, and a white rose, a yellow rose, and a red rose, so there's like color codes to all those roses, and depending on what kind of relationship you want or you have with that female. One day I went to my car. I never found out who did this, but I found a yellow rose in the door handle, and I'm like, huh, that was so thoughtful, but I never found out who it was. And they definitely got the right car because I had my business on there. So I was easily spotted with my vehicle because of the magnets that were on there. So that just was like a friendship kind of thing. So that was like beautiful. Of course, I didn't know who the secret admirer was, so we need to learn to say no at the right time, and use our voice. And no is as far as disciplining yourself. Do you need to have that much alcohol, or, another glass of beer? Why, like, maybe just to cut it down and say, I want to get off, instead of having a six pack, every night. You can cut back and say, no, I'm going to do this. You got to really have that power to say no and to discipline yourself, even on food. You don't have to have that extra helping. You could say, what, I'm good. you know, you want to lose weight, you know, there's people, you know, that they do have medical problems, you know, why they gain weight, but then there's other reasons why, you know, other people gain weight, and it could be because of exercise or what they're eating or stress, you know, a lot of different reasons. I'm not a doctor, but those are the reasons that I know. Medications that could really get people. It happened to me. I thought you know, people thought I was pregnant. So anyway, I know this video is getting long, is we need to discipline ourselves. And because it's so important, is because when the devil comes along and trying to tempt you with something that can mess your world up, you're getting strong enough to say no. You're building up a good habit of saying no. Get thee hence, Satan, you know, and he will flee. So, and you know, the devil will come, you know, in different ways, not all the time. He can't be around you all the time. You know, that he's not God. God's here all the time. You know, you can always reach out to God, you know, like he's like when out in my area, you know, you want the police officers, you call 911. You know, God is there all the time, 24/7, you know, and the archangels. But the devil can't be there all the time, so don't ever think that the devil is always doing stuff. Starlight used to think that. So don't think that, because it really can make things worse psychologically and all that stuff. You can add more problems in your life than it's really worth. Anyway, I do love all of you. I hope you really get a good help on this video, and you know, you can give this video a thumbs up. You could share my videos, you know, with a friend or family or your cat, your dog. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, and that's at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook at Kathy with a K Dingman. And I really love you a lot, and I am just helping you out with things that I am learning in my life and things that I am struggling. And I know you can get help from these videos, because you know, I get a lot of help from my mentor, but I also, you know, the universe and the archangels give me help also, you know, and shows me all kinds of stuff. I see things in other people. I'm blown away with all the things that God has shown me in the universe, and my my mentor, you know. So I thank all of you, you know, for supporting me and being there for me. We all need each other. So anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day. This is Starlight. Mwah. This is Starlight. Love and light. Peace.